Andy Dean is a radio talk show host, and Julie Roginski was a political advisor to the late New Jersey Senator Frank Lautenberg, also a Fox News contributor, and welcome to both of you.
Hi, Jamie.
Thank you.
Andy, while this speech was going on, I got an email from a commander in Afghanistan that I've known for many years, a major general, and he basically said that it was a powerful speech. I'm sure we'd all agree. But you have to have a strategic plan. You have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Is what you heard the beginnings of what will be a formal plan that will have an end?
Right. Well, obviously, John Kerry gave an emotional speech. There's no doubt about that. Everybody's sympathetic to seeing kids getting gassed. I mean, it couldn't be any worse in Syria. But the question is, what happens next? And we know that if Obama lobs a few cruise missiles, that won't change anything on the ground. It's still going to be an Islamic civil war. And as much as any of us want to change that, that will not change no matter what Obama does.
So, Julie, as you listen to the speech and the reassurances to the American public, he started with, Americans can decide for themselves. We're taking an unprecedented step of declassifying some information, not all, and they can take a look at it now and decide whether or not this attack took place, which he assures it definitely did, with high levels of confidence. He also said that the action has to be, of course, swift, serious, and it must accomplish what?
That's a great question. Actually, I agree with what Andy just said. I'd like to know what it does accomplish. At the end of the day, I believe that Bashar al-Assad did use these weapons. There's no doubt in my mind, at least, that he did. This is not a new thing for his regime to have done, and obviously my heart tells me he needs to be punished for it. But my head tells me that I'd like to know what the end game is. Again, as Andy just pointed out, lobbing a few cruise missiles off the coast of Syria is going to potentially destabilize the Assad regime. Even best case scenario, we can topple the Assad regime. What comes next? What comes next for a country that's on the border with Israel, our greatest ally in the region? What comes next for the region in the Middle East that's in flames right now, from Egypt to Syria to Libya? To Iran potentially soon, and so to Iraq, obviously, that's still ongoing. I'd like to know the answer to that, and I don't think the president has answered that yet sufficiently for me to support any kind of activity right now.
Well, actually, this talk by Secretary Kerry is all we know right now. We have to hear from the president. And Andy, one of the things that Secretary Kerry said was, we'll keep talking to Congress, but President Obama will make our own decision on our own timeline. For those in Congress who have written letters and who have gone public and said, I'm opposed to this or I want to be consulted on this, what answer do you think they got?
Well, look, I think that Obama is not going to take any action without the British, and the British are going to wait for another vote after they see a fuller picture of the UN report. Also, you have UN inspectors right now that are hanging around Damascus at the Four Seasons, so we're not going to throw cruise missiles in there until those people are out of the Four Seasons. And I just want to say one point, though, I think that's missing from this argument, is that we need to be grateful to the state of Israel, because back in 2007, Bashar al-Assad was developing a nuclear program, and Israel went in there in 2007, and this wasn't discussed widely, but they destroyed that program. Could you imagine right now if we were having the same discussion, but Bashar al-Assad had nuclear weapons? It would be much worse.
Well, you're right that Israel did take action at that point, and I'm sure they are paying very close attention to this, worried about their own borders. In the meantime, Julie, one of the other things that Secretary Kerry said is that he spoke with the foreign minister of Syria, asking for access before we get this declassified report to see exactly what happened. 4 days later, the evidence that he would have seen or our inspectors would have seen was blocked, basically saying, we're not going to get their cooperation. So does that leave us with less of a choice? Because he also said that diplomacy is going to be the real solution with Syria.
Well, diplomacy would be a great solution if we had somebody to have on the other side to negotiate with. But I think it's pretty obvious to me that the Assad regime is not interested in negotiation. They're enablers in the form of the Russians, who supply them with all sorts of weapons. And certainly access to these chemical components that make these chemical weapons are not going to side with us in the UN and the Security Council. So I'm not sure who we negotiate with. The point that Kerry did make that I was struck by, and I think is a salient point, is that if we do nothing here, what does that send? What kind of message and signal does that send to the Iranians about our intentions towards their development of a nuclear weapon, which in some, I would argue, is actually a much more serious situation than what's going on in Syria, despite the atrocities going on in Syria. But again, having said all of that, and the president's in a really tough bind on this, and any president would be, is what exactly comes next? What does happen if we are able to somehow topple the Assad regime? Because lobbing a few cruise missiles is not going to do anything to topple the regime. But let's say we're able to accomplish what was accomplished in Libya and we do topple the regime. What comes next?
Well, that's my point about that
exactly.
was brought to my attention by somebody I respect so much, this commander in Afghanistan, who says you got to have a strategy, you got to have an end point. Guys,
I'll say this about
leave
diplomacy.
it there.
Okay, you can't negotiate or be diplomatic with a guy who's going to gas kids. So Syria is going to look like Somalia in the 1990s. I mean, that's what it's going to become, sadly.
If he's around at that point to come to the table, we have to wait and see what happens. Andy and Julie, it's great to talk to you both.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so
Happy weekend,
much.
Labor Day.
You too. Great.
How about this? We just got